Kristen Riffle. How are you?
Hi, Zack Schilling. How are you?
I'm good. You know what I was thinking about and what came up was I was thinking about new home sales over the weekend. You know, with everything that's been changing in the market, pricing, stuff like that. Some curiosities came to mind. For instance, there's a couple, we're going to refer more to the Summerlin area because that's kind of where we're at. But like you've got one builder that's been going for quite a little while. At one time, they're charging a huge amounts for lot premiums in the millions, and now they've removed those because obviously they need sales. I think you have some statistics on that. But my question is what's the recourse for the people that paid those exorbitant lot fees? You know, and then the other question is there's another builder that just came out in Summerlin, single story homes. They're, from what I understand, really exciting, but you're not on huge lots. But there's coming in at 1.3, 1.4 million. Who's buying these, Christy?
Well, at base price, they're at 1.3. They've lowered their prices to 1.3 in a gated community. It's track homes, gated, not guard gated. And there are still, that's not including with lot premiums now, that seems they've slashed them in half. And then they're offering $75,000 at the design center, but that's if you spend $100,000, you get the $75,000. So that's still, you have to tack on that amount to it. So
$1.3 million is now $1.4 million to get $75,000 in credit at the design center.
Right, and then so lot premiums, some of which are now at zero, were at the peak. They were going for $150,000 for lot premiums. Those are getting slashed in half. They're closer to 75, 85 for lot premiums on those. But there are some that are zero now. So we've seen a complete shift.
Well, that's good news for a buyer then. I mean, I don't want to be all gloom and doom.
No, it's not gloom and doom. It's actually, I think that what we're trying, wealth is made in down markets. So what's the real down market going to be in Las Vegas? And I think that new home sales could be considered that market.
Well, yeah, definitely, in my experience in real estate here in Las Vegas, the home builders definitely do set the markets in the highs. So why wouldn't they set the markets in the lows? I understand you got like some stats here and some stuff to go over that I would love. I think it would be very beneficial to our audience, and I would like to learn about them. So would you teach me?
Sure.
Let's go.
Okay. So builders logged in Las Vegas, Southern Nevada. Builders logged 350 net sales and newly signed purchase contracts minus cancellations in Southern Nevada in October. That is down 59% from
year to date
last year. So that's pretty interesting. And then we have nationally 54.8% of active projects are offering to be built with incentives up from last month. So like we were saying, they're offering a lot of incentives. Also with those same communities that we were talking about, they're offering buy downs. They're offering about 40,000 buy downs in that particular community. And they were offering 3% closing costs, excuse me.
To closing
yeah,
costs.
Sorry,
sure.
I've had a sinus problem.
Yeah,
you can hear it.
She's been sick, but she's a trooper. She's pulling through it.
I'm hanging through. And then, so another really cool statistic that Zonda tracks is pending sales, the pending sales index, the PSI. And that's considering a leading indicator on housing demand because it's how many contracts are being written. And based on that, Las Vegas is down 43.9% year over year on pending contracts. So there's a lot that has fallen out. It's creating a lot of more backlog of new home inventory. So to me, if you're going new homes or resale where you're going to get some real deals, it seems to be like new home
Let me add something into that just for a second. What's the advantage? Like people ask, like, well, why do I need you as a realtor to come to a new home with me?
Oh, okay? Hugely important.
So it's hugely important, but like, just let me just state the obvious to you. First of all, one, as a realtor, we have access to every builder pretty much in town. We also have access to every resale. So the builders know that. So what do they want to do? They want to get us to have our people come through their doors. So they're going to have special incentives that the realtors are in the know to. In the public, not as much, because they want our clients. So that's one thing that realtors really can do. May it be myself, maybe Christy, may it be whoever. If it's an active realtor, that this is their main gig and is in the know in the industry and keeps track of what's going on and what's opening, what's selling, what inventory is where, whatever, what's standing inventory, that's the realtor you want. But anyway, with that said, they're going to know the incentives. They're going to know the questions to ask to get you those extra incentives, to get things waived, to get more percentage for your closing costs, whatever it is. So that's kind of what a realtor, one aspect. I can go into another dissertation on why it's important to have a realtor.
Well, let's actually we're going to talk about that right now, actually.
Oh,
and we're not going to say what builder it was, but there is an
Okay.
issue in a certain very high-end community, new build community here with the windows.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking
I know
about.
what you're talking about.
Now, if a lot of these people, so talk about the windows a little
Okay,
bit.
so in this development, it's definitely one of the top tier track home builders. Okay, unfortunately, the vendor that they got for this huge project, the vendor for the windows, this guy malfunctioning windows. The builder, being the stand-up company that they are, went in and said, okay, we're replacing all of these. They went in and replaced, and most of the people that are participating in it at this time went in and replaced the windows. Well, those windows didn't work out either. Now this is another avenue, just a little public service announcement for you. Now you've got owners there, they're like, you know what, I don't want to deal with this anymore. So they're just going to let it ride. Well, when they go to resell their house, they're going to have to disclose that. And that's going to be a really hard sale for somebody else. It's kind of like the Kaitak when they had the water piping problem here in Vegas, which is it's just going to be a major malfunction in that neighborhood. Furthermore, some of the neighbors have talked and said, let's do a class action lawsuit against this builder. Well, unfortunately, they're going to shoot themselves in the foot if they do that, because if there's a lawsuit against that builder and in that community, in that HOA, whatever, what's going to happen then is that it's not going to be able to be lended on. They will not lend on it. So it's a
Catch-22.
It's a tightrope a little bit,
Yeah.
You want to always try to do what's best for yourself and give best advice for your family, do what's best. But at this one, there's going to be a little nuance that needs to be happening in that neighborhood so that everyone can work together, so they don't kill their values, and they make it so that the people can buy in there. Unless the only way you wouldn't be able to is if you had cash. So anyway, I divert, but I divert.
Yeah, no, but so here's the thing. If you have an experience being key realtor who's representing you on the new home sale, you're going to have an inspector there during all these inspections, and they're going to be able to point out these issues and resolve these issues, and you're going to be able to walk away or not, and you're going to have representation there. It's not you against in the
builder.
Against the builder.
It's me. I get to be the asshole. Excuse my language. I get to be the one who's standing up for you, so that you can still, when you go there, you can wave to him once you move in. You can wave to him as you drive by the sales office, instead of both of you guys having problems. I get to be the person that
Right.
gets to be the bad guy. But you know what? To that end, when Christy was talking about that, for people that we're just totally going off here, but for people that haven't done new homes, had a new home build, there's going to be certain sections of new home build. First, they're going to pour the foundation. Might have a cement inspector there to make sure that it's all level. Second, then you're going to have sticks up, which is basically, the framing walk. you want, gosh, I've seen it so many times. You know, labor's labor, but often they get those walls, they're not straight. So you might have somebody take a look at that. Then there's the electrical walk, there's the HVC walk. You know, there's all those different stages of building, drywall walk, you know, and then your final walk. I've missed a couple in between, but you know, your realtor should be there to support you in each of those things. Even if you don't have the home inspector, if the realtor's been doing this for a while, he's gone through this process a couple times and may have something to add. For me, the final walk is a real big one because besides the fact of making sure that we kept the walls straight and the foundation straight, which they don't get that wrong too often. The walls a little crooked sometimes. But anyway, with that said, it's the finish work. It's like better having 4 eyes instead of 2 eyes looking at the finish work. And unfortunately, finish work sometimes needs a little extra TLC on it. So that's just one thought there. But
so when you're interviewing a real estate agent, sorry to interrupt, but when you're interviewing your real estate agents who you want to represent you in a new home deal, I think the first question that I would ask a realtor, if it were me, would be, have you ever gotten somebody's earnest money back?
Oh, right. Great question. Have you ever got anybody's earnest money back
Who's backed
from
out? Yeah.
a builder?
Yeah.
And can I answer the question?
Have you,
Not only once, but probably 5 or 6 times. And yes, I have.
I can attest to that.
Especially when I first got into real estate. Well, it was about 5 years in. Really gun ho. It was right before the 2008. I actually, because I was so passionate about my clients getting their money and taking care of them, I actually got a basket from the VP of KB Homes saying, you know what, it's nice to have a realtor that cares for their clients. It was really nice. Now that VP is now gone, so I don't have that relationship at KB any longer. But it was a nice kudos to have that. I'm going to toot my own horn for a second, toot. But yes, I've gotten people's earnest money back, and I know how to do it too.
Yeah, absolutely. You sure have quite a few times.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really important question. I think you should always remember, I've said this a million times in these videos.
I love that question. That's great. That's a great freaking question. Have you got somebody's earnest money back?
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, because they're not going to give it to you. It's like if you rented a house and the property management trying to get the security deposit back. They like to hold on to those. Even if they go back and resell the house, they like to hold on to them, so that's kind of crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, and then and another thing would be, you wouldn't go into court without a lawyer, right? So why would you go into a new home community where they're representing the builder, the salespeople in there? You're going into court by yourself. So I always recommend finding an experienced realtor when going into new home communities. But I know that was a veer away from what the conversation was about with prices shifting, but I think that we're going to see a lot more people moving into new homes coming soon because of what's happening in the pricing here. We did a lot of math before we sat down today.
Before you get to the math, just to set an expectation, unless you find a standing inventory for a new home, keep in mind you're going to need 6 months to a year and a half before you're going to get into that house.
Facts.
Just know it so that you don't think, hey,
They're
I'm going to be able to get right into this house. It's not going to happen.
Well, and it's also been closer to 11 to 13 months lately with the way the slow, with the issues that have been.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then so we've seen base prices drop from what we were calculating 10 to 15% since peak last year.
From date to date.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where we're at on that, and that's about it. Anything else, Zach?
No.
Oh well, and the Las Vegas home median home price is now at $430,990.
And let me just tell you that FHA minimum or the maximum for a loan has raised, and I think it's in the low 500. I think it's 503 now. So that's great news, since the median house price is lower than that. So you can use FHA in a lot of your houses now, opposed to conventional. And that's just a lower down payment.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Fed's meeting right now. We're assuming that they're meeting in a few minutes. As we film this, they're going to be meeting, and we're assuming that we're going to go down a half a basis point, or they're going to raise it again a half a basis point.
They're going to raise it?
They're going to raise it a
I
half a
thought they
basis
were-
point, but that's actually less than what they initially said they were going to do, which was a 75.
So there's a silver
And
lining.
so that's actually, in fact, a pivot, even though it is a rate hike. So.
But rates now, like, they have shifted down a little bit.
They have.
Like, conventional at one time was close to the 9s, and it's now in the 6s, if I'm correct, if I'm 7s, and FHA is, you can almost be in the 5.5s now.
Yeah.
I'm not a lender.
With
and
like
I have
an 800 credit score.
I have a lender. We have a stream of lenders on our team that can do that. I just listen to them. I don't keep up as much as I should every day on that, but
stay on your side of the fence.
There was some. Yeah, I stay on my side of the fence. They stay on their side of the fence. But that is a good piece of information, though that base point might be going up. But that's still, we're better than we were. We're not the best that we've ever going to be. But keep in mind that 2.5%, 3% was a unicorn, and I don't ever think we're going to see that again in our lives. Just my opinion.
I think that's it for us because I'm having a coughing fit. I'm still sick.
Yeah, and I'm getting sniffles now because of her.
So we're going to go. Love you guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Happy holidays.